Good morning. It's 8:30. Welcome to the Wednesday, October 18th meeting of the Board of Franklin County Commissioners.
Commissioner Stoudemire,
Present.
Commissioner Harris, Chair Dickinson,
President,
Commissioner Dunn, Vice Chair Waymeyer.
Present.
please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. And just to double check, we don't have anybody here for invocation this morning? All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You all may be seated. Thank you. Any correspondence or organizational business today?
No, ma'am.
All right. And no public comment, so we'll move on to our consent agenda.
Yes, I have a public comment.
Oh,
You didn't sign, I told you you needed to sign up before the meeting.
okay.
Yeah, she called
Yes.
me yesterday.
Okay, so is it on this, one of our,
No.
is it general public comment? Okay, all right, then come on up. I'm going to read this. A citizen desiring to speak on an item not on the agenda may do so at this time. Discussion is limited to 5 minutes. The commission will not take action or discuss items at this time. Discussion should be limited to matters of county commission business, and public comment is not permitted in regard to personnel matters or on pending legal matters. Items introduced under public comment may become agenda items at a later date. And would you just state your name and address, please?
Okay, my name is Barbara Patton, and I live at 3162 Texas Road, Ottawa, Kansas. I'm about a quarter of a mile from Mid-States Quarry. And I sent an email to each of you last Wednesday, I believe, of last week, but I just used the email address that I found on the website that said it would send it to each of you, so I don't know if that actually reached you or not. If it didn't, I've made copies. And I would be happy to share that with you now. That's part of my reason for being here today, was because I never trust email, whether it gets through or not. I just wanted you to be aware of the concerns I had on Texas Road. In light of the ongoing drought, the constant traffic on that road, the dust that's created by semis meeting each other, the speed of the semis, all of those things creates a scary environment for we have 12 households, around 25 people on that little 3/4 of a mile section. I know years ago there was a lawsuit involving that quarry that has been long gone history. At the time of that lawsuit, a petition was presented to reduce the speed limit. I understand that at that time the county couldn't look at it because of the lawsuit. The residents of that road would greatly appreciate any assistance that could be provided to help us with this ongoing situation. Now, I've sent 2 emails to you, actually a third one by mistake. I've been recording some of the trucks as they go by and the dust. And if you would drive down that road, you would be amazed at the coating of dust. And I'm sure all gravel roads have that problem. It's not something that is limited to our road, but when you put semi-trucks, multiple semi-trucks traveling from 7:30 in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon back and forth on that road, it's greatly magnified. And I'm concerned for the health of the residents on that road. I'm concerned for the safety of my 11 grandchildren and my pets, the people on that road. Some of the drivers are courteous and drive at a safe speed. And actually, after my letter, because I sent the letter to you guys and to Mid-State Quarry, I'm not sure who at Midstate got it, but the next day, the drivers were much slower, much, much slower. Now, yesterday, and I know they have independent drivers, so there are different groups coming in and out of there. Yesterday, the speed was back up again. And, we pay for dust control in front of my home and the neighbors across there, hundreds of dollars, but it still doesn't solve the problem because the majority of the road is not, doesn't have the dust control on it. So I just wanted to implore you and ask you, what steps can I take to make this a safer environment for my house, the 12 households along there, the 25 people that live there? How can we go about being good neighbors with, because I understand this quarry's going to be there. And if they could do something like warn the drivers, do not exceed a certain speed limit, if we could set a speed limit out there, signs, if we could do anything like that to improve the conditions, I am all for doing whatever I can to help push that through. And that's basically, I just wanted you guys to, and if I also brought my phone in case somebody wanted to watch the video. I tried to attach it, it was too big of a file, so I gave up and just sent the letter. So that's basically my comment today, and I know you're not allowed to comment to me, but I just wanted to share that with you.
Well, I will say that, thank you for coming in, because personally, I had not seen this email.
Okay.
And so
Didn't either.
it looks like it went to administration. So anyway, thank you for coming in. And
Okay.
so it is something that it is just now coming to our attention. So I'm glad you came in today.
Okay, all right, I appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Patton, and I think you acknowledged this, but I want to make sure, you did send a follow-up email saying it was a lot better, right?
Because of, and I was sending that really to, but I attached you guys, you and Mid-States, the very next day after my first letter, the trucks were driving much slower. Now, by yesterday, which is multiple days later, it's a different group. It's not always it's different ones, and the speed's back up again. It's like, come on, guys. Everybody pay attention. Now, if I step out with my camera and start filming, guess what? They slow down. If I'm out there doing this, they slow way down. And I know they know that they are, and when they meet each other, the road is so narrow, they have to stop and try to get around each other. But yes, it was better after a couple of days, but I don't think it's a permanent solution.
Well, the only reason I ask is I did get both of your emails, but before I could even sit down with David, who's our Public Works Director, you'd sent another saying it was better. So I thought, okay, it must have been better. But then yesterday you sent, maybe mistakenly, an email again. So I'm glad you're here too, and we can talk about solutions. But yeah, you had me confused on, is the problem solved or not? Because your second email indicated.
Because this retired teacher doesn't understand her iMac computer. And I thought, this email never sent. And I sent it again, and it's like, oh, wait, that's the one that said it was attached. It's like, well, I'll explain that to them.
Well,
So,
the fact you did at least see a difference means that
yes,
they're communicating,
And
they're
I don't-
trying. Now, it sounds like either, like you said, you got different people, and then even if you had the same people, eventually they're gonna get in a hurry, they're gonna have quoted deadlines, life's gonna go on, and
I have no idea who I was communicating with Mid-States. I went to their website, I found an email address at the bottom that said something like R. Brown, something, something, and I asked in the letter, please forward this to whoever in Mid-States, it would help. I got no communication back, or nobody contacted me or anything, but the next day, I'm sorry, that would be me. The very next day, even my neighbors, which is my brother and my brother-in-law and a rental property, said, wow, they were slower today. Could that have happened that quickly? Well, maybe if somebody paid attention. But I know it's not a long-term solution.
Sure.
And I know the drought makes a difference, and I expect on a gravel road to have some dust. But on a gravel road that has semi-trucks traveling consistently at higher speeds, it's a dangerous situation and it's a problem. So I appreciate you listening to me. I'm sorry I didn't sign in. I didn't understand that. Thank you for letting me take this time to speak.
No problem, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to our consent agenda today. Our consent agenda consists of the minutes from the meeting on October 11th and claim vouchers from October 15th in the amount of $973,694.28.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, second.
Thank
I'm sorry, I was reading the deal there.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
I'm used to, that's for my research with three people
I know.
on the basis of,
You
yeah.
got to do more work today.
Commissioner Waymire?
Yes.
Chair Dickinson?
Yes. All right, our first item of business is to consider appointing one member to the Franklin County Planning Commission and one member to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Pat Toth. Good morning.
Good morning, Commission. Okay, so I want to start off with addressing the Board of Zoning Appeals. We did have a applicant, and I believe yesterday they actually rescinded their application requesting not to be part of the process. So we will not be, as I understand it, we won't be voting on anything to do with the Board of Zoning and Appeals, but we still have 4 applicants who are all present and probably going to speak on behalf of themselves, to introduce themselves and everything like that, for the Planning Commission, which is 1 vacancy. As I have attached maps showing where these individuals are located in regards to whose district and area of the county they reside in, you can use that as a determination of what best fits, or help make your determination of what best fits our representation of our areas. These are positions of 3-year terms, and there are 9 positions total. The majority must be residing within the unincorporated area, and so we are allowed to vote in a few members inside city limits of any incorporated area. With that, I would say we could start the introductions and they could come up and speak for themselves.
You have 4 or 5?
4, I believe.
If there was 5?
Yes, we have Ms. Proudy, Ms. Mater, Ms. Mahan, sorry, my apologies, and Mr. Falls.
Nailed it.
Okay. And that's the Chad
The one
Sullivan.
was going to be for our board.
Chad Sullivan was the other one for the other.
Correct,
Okay,
that
thank
is
you, thank you.
correct.
All right, gotcha. Okay. Then we want them to come up and introduce themselves?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You want to call them up as?
All right, yeah, let's, I'll just go by the way they're attached here. Chandy Proudy, we'll let Chandy come up first.
Okay to go through, or just introduce myself?
Oh, no, yeah, tell a little
Okay.
bit about yourself and then maybe why you were interested in being on this.
Perfect. Okay.
yeah.
Good morning. Hello. All right. I moved here 20 years ago because I wanted to, not because my family was here. The charm, community, tradition of this county and city is unique, and where a lot of people come to raise kids and escape big cities. This is why it's important to grow the county responsibly. This is what I want to help with. I don't want to just complain about it. This is why I want to be on the planning board. There are many aspects to look at when adding to the community. I feel these are strengths that I can bring to the team. I have things listed out, so my speech will be shorter, which is good. All right, so number 1, on a panel of 9, it's important to be a team player, not to be outspoken, not to offend, but to conduct business respectfully, and I am. If I have questions, you guys know that I'll reach out. I can view normal stressful situations with an unbiased opinion, which I think is important as well. I can research, and this will be helpful with the comprehensive plan process that's slated to happen. I will show up and I'll be on time. That's important in this situation too. So I have and am currently working for the last 20 years with businesses that range from small business to large corporations globally. And so I know what attracts businesses to communities. That information is invaluable. I can give you point of views, I can give you business cases, I can create those. I also, in my family, we have a really small cow-calf situation process that we handle. So I can give you a very large array business-wise in that regard. I also, we have kids at my house, and I'm praying that they stay here. So I have a vested interest in what this community and how this county grows. I do understand profit and losses. I understand accounting. I understand numbers, again, from small, medium to global corporations. And I think that's why I will be an asset to the Franklin County Planning Board. That's it.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions? How does this process?
I know one of the main goals of the planning zone people don't realize is it's the protection of agricultural ground. We try to do our best. And what is your impression of protecting agricultural ground? Even though somebody may meet the requirements to do what they're going to do, but sometimes we feel it's imposing on the agricultural way of life.
So I think you know my stance on protecting agriculture from the time that I've been in front of you. But to answer your question more directly, we have agriculture land where there is nothing. It's just grass and timber. And we continuously get letters. We'll give you $2,000 for your acreage of land. $2,000? That's not what it goes for. You know what I mean? I think it's very important to protect it, not only for future, as I've already said, but also to eat, to hunt. So I hope that I've answered your question, but my stance is you cannot make real estate. You cannot make agriculture land. If you don't have agriculture, you don't have a community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good?
I guess maybe I have a question, because I think sometimes people don't, the planning and zoning board, basically, they look at the regulations and then they decide whether this business does or does not fall under those regulations, and your personal opinions really can't be a part of that. Do you feel like you can be fair and impartial on anybody that comes in?
Yes. I also can research those regs and statutes and understand what's supposed to happen. Again, having 6 kids at home, I have to be unbiased no matter what situation is in front of me. And so, yes, I can. No matter what I want to have happen, it's not my land, right? So I can't tell Mr. Brown how he should run his household. And that's the same in that situation, so absolutely.
And also, we're going to be working towards rewriting, maybe in the next couple of years, so a lot of things going on. All right, thank you, Shandy. All right, we'll move on to Joseph Falls. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. I was interested in the Planning Commission because I'm a lifelong Franklin County resident. I lived down here since I was born, left for a couple years to go to school, and the first couple years, but when I wanted to start my own business, I'm an attorney here, it was Ottawa that I wanted to come to. So I live here in town, own some property with my father out between Williamsburg and Princeton, been city attorney for a few small towns here. I know what the issues are. There's quite a few issues. We want development. We also want smart development. We don't want a factory put up in the middle of Centropolis, out in the middle of nowhere. If you're wanting to put it, let's figure out what the regulations are, what makes sense, what works. As a planning commissioner and as an attorney, I can put my biases to the side be fair, be impartial, consider what the actual requests are, and ultimately go from there.
All right, any questions?
Yeah, it's coming from a different angle where it's something that's already went past the planning board. It's something the planning board can't handle. So I think with his background in legal, that would maybe help that board. I mean, to have someone on there, but,
Well,
and you didn't mention also the council for the city of Round Two also.
correct. I had been for Richmond as well.
So you're out there, you do a little rural
Well,
area
no, and I
stuff, too.
understand, and like I said, I think last time I checked, there's only one other house in the entire section that my father lives on. He's pretty fortunate, and he would like to keep it that way. May change, but he's kind of out there in the middle of nowhere, so,
All right,
thank you.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to Jennifer McMahon. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer McMahon. I'm actually new-ish. I moved here within the last 4 years. We own Williams Collective, which is an apiary within Princeton. And we also keep our bees with other contracted properties. I have my bachelor's in accounting and my master's in business administration. I used to work for ECA until about this last week, where I accepted a more aggressive accounting role at QSI in Richmond. My household is very involved in construction and development in Johnson County. My partner works for an excavating and construction firm. So I'm very well aware of a lot of what goes into the planning and to what gets presented to the board and what gets spoken about, not only from a financial stance, but as a business owner within the community and as someone who is part of that industry as well.
Guess I'll ask the same question. What's your idea of protecting agriculture ground?
I believe protecting our agriculture ground and natural resources is very important. I've actually put my kids through positions where they've been put in front of a national platform to be able to speak on those issues and to advocate for agriculture in our community and advocate for more ag education. We've actually donated over $2,000 in ag education to Franklin County schools.
All right, any other questions? Okay, we'll move on. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sabrina, thank you, Medder.
All right. I guess why I'm interested in being on the Planning Commission. I think first off, having witnessed the Planning Commission the past year in action, I found it interesting. I'm kind of a nerd like that and thought I would like to take part or help participate if that opportunity ever arose, and surprisingly it did. So that, I mean, that's like the feeling part of me, why I would want to. Other reasons why is I can tell or feel that Franklin County is on the verge of change and growth, just as you see what's going on north and coming this way. And I would like to take part in helping our county grow wisely and gracefully in that, and with the, in helping the citizens of the county. One thing I would like to say, I know I've voiced my viewpoint on kind of a hot topic item, and I want to point out that to prove that I did not apply to further any agendas. I think some people like to get on things to further an agenda. I'm willing to, if I were to be accepted, abstain from voting on some of those items if asked by you guys, or, in order to protect the county and anything in that nature. I guess all these people are talking about themselves, so qualities that I would have, I have knowledge in dirt work, wouldn't think I'd do that, but just knowing what my husband's line of work is and where I've been. I've owned a business in Ottawa for 11 years, and then I chose to spend time with my family. Along with the dirt work, road construction, rock quarries, things of that nature. When you're married to that profession, it kind of, that profession, and I've helped work in those lines on jobs on building roads in Metcalfe and Johnson County, Turnpike and around Topeka, things of that nature. Mainly just here to volunteer my time for the county. I thank you for your opportunity in considering the application. If you have any questions, there's lots of things I could say, but I don't know what questions you might have.
I'm going to ask the same thing. I'll be the same to everybody. And why I asked this question, I served 2 terms on the planning board through my years. And that was why I got on there, because I thought that's what we really needed to do. We needed to do smart growth. That was always the big thing back then. But we also, I felt, we needed that added ingredient of protecting what agriculture, and how do you feel?
I also agree. I think there's this opinion, there's kind of 2 groups when I've watched this planning commission, and you have the people come in and they say, we want to split it up so people can come into the community, or, split up the land so you have more people. And I notice, living out where we live and, landowners and things in our area, there's this battle with counties and ag land of either you keep it like industry coming in. Either you want industry or you're going to have to allow more people to come in. And usually when you live out in the country, you live out there because you don't want more people around you. And so it's this hard battle of what it is, but I am for protecting agricultural land. I do understand, though, that there are going to be businesses that want to move in and take agricultural land, and so it's a hard battle. I think it's one of those things you'd have to see case by case. How is it going to affect the community? How is it going to be, the citizens? Is it going to help those people, or is it only going to help whatever entity that's coming? I am a big proponent of helping people be self-sufficient, and that's why a lot of people also live out in the country. We want to not be reliant on grocery stores and the government to provide us food. So anyways, those are, I don't know if that answered your question. Any?
That's it.
All right, thank you. All right. One of the things I was looking at, and thank you for providing that, Pat, the map. Currently, the first district has 1 current with an applicant. Second district has 1 current with no applicant. The third district already has 2 current. The fourth district, one current with 1 applicant, and the fifth district is 3 current. Do you have any, in my head, I'm thinking the third district already has 2 representatives. And some of the others don't have any, so I would lean just from that to go with either the representative or the candidate from the first district or the one from the fourth district to kind of even it up more.
Yeah, I guess one of the things I appreciate about our commission is we don't, I'll look at it as the southern half of the county. We don't, think of things as far as my district, your district, we're all in the same county, and but to that extent, the southern half, it really isn't represented. I think we have 3 candidates that all really do love the community, and I don't put a ton of weight on, I mean, how many years you've lived here. To me, that, I mean, I've lived here quite a while, but it's just as much my county as somebody who's lived here a couple of years. And those folks have to live with the decisions just the same. The genuine love and interest of the place they live. And I suppose long enough to have some knowledge is always good, but short enough to have some perspective is good too. So that's not necessarily something that I overly weight, but yeah, the fact Ms. McMahon lives in the southern half of the county and works in the southern half of the county. Other than that, I guess we're focusing on that too, because, you know, I think we have three qualified candidates. So
I can say,
I would agree.
excuse me.
Oh, I would agree.
It's a good problem to have because you got a lot of good candidates. But from being around as long as I have, you can notice my district, I always have a full slate, but I never get anybody in the southern part of the county. Never. You know, I always have good rapport from Rantoul North, but I never have anybody from Rantoul South. Just don't know why. I don't know if it's because they think it's too far to drive to come to or they don't, you know, but it's always been a real issue, and we tried to split it up the best we can. And it's hard to do sometimes when you don't get the candidate. You have to fill, you know. When you got to fill. But we're just in a fortunate position. We have a list of good candidates, and you do have somebody. They're not as far south as I'd like to see them, but there is nobody further south applying for the position. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
You want to get those Richmond folks, don't you, Don?
Yeah.
Well, she works in Richmond,
But-
right?
but,
So we're
I'd make a motion to appoint Ms. McMahon to the Planning Commission then.
I'd second it, but for the reason just I said, good candidates, and they're all equal, and so one of them just happens to live further south, and that's where we want to go, so I'd go with the second on McMahon.
Commissioner Waymire?
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yeah.
Chair Dickinson?
Yeah. Just a reminder that we do have a position on the Board of Zoning Appeals. Two? All right, so if you're still interested in serving the county, we'd love to see an applicant. And thank you all for your time today.
I have the
And-
oath here. Would you like me to go ahead and swear
Oh,
her
yes,
in?
absolutely, please.
Fill this out really fast and then we'll have her sign it.
Do you know you were going to have to swear today when you came in?
Okay, they make yours really long. I'm really sorry about that, so I'll try to read it slowly. I, Jennifer McMahon,
I, Jennifer McMahon,
do solemnly, sincerely,
do solemnly, sincerely,
and truly declare and affirm
and truly declare and affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge my duties
and faithfully discharge my duties
to the best of my abilities
to the best of my abilities
as a member of the Franklin County Planning Commission,
as a member of the Franklin County Planning Commission,
and I will do this under the penalties of perjury.
and I will do this under the penalties of perjury. It's a long one. It's not looking at him. Today is the 18th.
At least we took out that, and I'll give my firstborn son, and, you know, at least we took out that
I
line.
would give him to like do work.
Thank you. All right, then we will move on to electing a voting delegate and 2 alternate delegates for the 48th Annual Kansas Association of Counties Conference.
Okay, Commissioners, annually, we select delegates for 3 different positions. For those of you who are attending the KAC conference, the one that we're going to discuss first is for the KAC meeting. The second one is for K-Camp, and then I visited with K-Work on the phone, and they're going to be sending theirs at the end of the month after they decide on a potential bylaw change. So we'll be seeing that one towards the end of this month. As you stated, we need one delegate and two alternates for this. So I know I am planning on attending the meeting. I think Dawn is. I'm not sure who else is.
Roy.
So- Roy, okay. So we just need to select a delegate and two alternates for this.
Who wants to be the delegate? Ryan, did you do it last year?
I did do it last year.
You want to do it again?
I don't mind doing it. The only part I don't like is the K-Camp one is out right in the middle of the dinner that's provided by.
So I did talk with them about that, and they said that, that they do K-Camp and K-Work together, and they said they are going to try to get everyone out of there quickly so that they can attend the dinners. So they acknowledge that they are having their meeting right before the meals that are served by usually our engineers. So.
How's your arm feel? You think you'll be able to raise it to vote and all that?
I don't mind unless you want to.
No, I'd be the alternate if you want me to.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
One more alternate,
Yes.
the last alternate if you.
Okay, so I have Ian as the delegate, Dawn as the alternate, and Commissioner Waymire is the second alternate. Okay. Do we have a motion for that?
Motion.
Second.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Aye.
Commissioner Waymire?
Aye.
Chair Dickinson?
Yes. And then our third item of business is to elect a voting delegate and an alternate delegate for the K-Camp meeting.
So basically, same thing, just need a delegate and an alternate delegate for this meeting. And like I said, K-Work will be held at the same time. So they're going to try to get everyone out of there so they can make their dinner engagements. So hopefully concern
Make
averted.
a motion the same as the first, if it's okay with Ian.
Fine, I'll plan to be there.
Second.
Commissioner Waymire?
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Chair Dickinson?
Yes. All right, that concludes our business. We'll move on to staff reports. Derek?
Yeah, we had a nice employee retention committee meeting yesterday. Talked a lot about our challenges in terms of workforce. We continue to fare better than most of our competitors in terms of municipalities, but that's not to say that we don't have challenges. We don't pay as much, and despite our adjustment, other organizations have made adjustments. And we understand that we have to win on culture. So the purpose of those meetings is brainstorming ideas to help continue improving what we feel like we have here. But it's interesting, this morning, we're talking about development and preserving agriculture, and I completely agree with you, Dawn, that that's a noble goal and one that we should certainly undertake. That being said, development is also important, provided we do it responsibly. And I think, and Ian, you spoke to this, but diversifying our revenue so that we're not so reliant on ad valorem property taxes, that's important. Because the fact of the matter is, if we don't grow, we have two options. At the end of the day, there are two options. We can cease providing services, or we can raise taxes on the folks that continue to live here. And neither one of those options are palatable to me. So I think that leaves us with the task of finding a balance between preserving agriculture and responsible growth, including alternative revenue sources, whatever they may be. So it's just, I hope that it's apparent how intertwined all of this is, but, finding a blade operator or a corrections officer is very much intertwined with recruiting industry into Franklin County. It's just all an ecosystem that's certainly related. And Ian will we'll need an executive session after this, but we can get to that. But that's all I need.
All right. Pat, do you have anything else this morning? Paul Bean?
Morning, Commissioners. Just wanted to share with you, yesterday we had our Entrepreneurship Committee meeting, which is the subset of FCDC that really works with entrepreneurs and more commercial than industrial. And we have continued to help businesses grow and expand. We awarded a loan and a grant to the Donut Lady. She's moving across the street here in Ottawa and expanding her operation. And so thanks to Goppert State Savings Bank, who is a primary lender, we were able to partner alongside the bank with charity and keep that business going. For people who don't know, she has to vacate the building she's in. And we were worried about losing our donut shop, which is another important part of our economic community here. And so happy that we're able to partner with them and get that done yesterday. The other thing I'm really excited about as well is Little Sprouts Daycare Center, which is on the north side behind Goppert State Bank, has new ownership, and it's now called the, now I'm drawing a blank. Darn it. It's got a new name, and I apologize, Michelle, that I can't remember if you're listening. But we have partnered with her. She's purchased the building and putting in new equipment and making some significant upgrades to that facility that can hold up to 100 kids. And she has open slots, so people that need daycare should reach out to the Emerald Learning Center. It just popped into my head. I'm just a little slower these days. But again, we were happy that we were able to provide gap funding as well as a grant to Michelle as she improves that facility and improves that operation. We all know how important childcare is to our businesses and retention and recruitment. She can, like I said, hold up to 100 kids, and so she's got slots. And so what I'll be doing is reaching out to some of our industry and businesses that I know need childcare and make them aware that Emerald Learning Center has some openings for them and can service them. So just excited. That was a good day. We were able to help a couple of businesses that I think are important to our communities. Just wanted to share that with you. Happy to answer any questions. We do have our Franklin County Career Day coming up November 9th, and we've got a large list of businesses participating, and we'll have over 370 kids, juniors from all the high schools throughout the county coming to that, so we're excited about that day too. So if you have time and just want to come and kind of see what's going on, you're always welcome to come, and KOFO is going to be on site with Derek, and that always makes it fun and adds a little boost to it, so be a good day.
Anything you
Thank
want to share from the executive board meeting? Ian was there as well. I don't know that it was noteworthy. I just.
No, we're basically getting ready from an FCDC standpoint. We'll have our annual gathering coming up here November. I'm getting my November dates. I think it's the 2nd. That'll be the last official meeting for FCDC in 2023, and get ready to hit the ground running in 2024. I will go back and say, on regards to the e-community loans, a couple of things I wanted to mention I forgot, is all the e-communities are allotted a certain amount of money to providing gap financing. And our fiscal year starts July 1, and we've already just about used our allotment, which is pretty astounding that we're this far, not that far into the year, and we've already awarded enough support for businesses in town that we've almost used up our allotment. Fortunately, Network Kansas appreciates how aggressive we are in that, and they're looking at ways to shift some money from some other communities that maybe aren't as aggressive, so we can continue to be out there doing that. Because I'd hate to have to say in December we can't help anybody till July. So I think we'll probably get some help. The other thing I want to share with you all and the public. The way that these loans are funded, the way the state generates the money for these loans is through tax credits that FCDC can provide to people that can purchase tax credits, for Kansas income tax credits, and it can be for an individual or for a business. And so if they purchase those, they need to visit with their tax professional, but basically you get a credit on your income tax for Kansas taxes, and you get a charitable deduction on your federal taxes. In addition to that, like I said, the money that is donated through the tax credits funds these types of gap financing programs throughout the state that we're, as I just said, we're one of the more aggressive communities in utilizing those funds. And so it's important that we try to give back to the fund as much as we're using it. And then lastly, we get a commission. So we get 30% commission on any of those sales tax that we're able to generate through Franklin County. That comes back to FCDC and E-Community. So the only restriction is we're using that for economic development. So it goes into our budget and allows us to do some things that we couldn't do otherwise, and means that we don't have to ask members or you all or other contributors for increases if we can generate more money through the sales of those tax credits. So just wanted to share that as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, happy 20th anniversary.
Hey, thank you. Yes, it's my 20th wedding anniversary.
He had hair before, yeah. All right, Sheriff. Nothing. All right, Dustin? All right. David Lee?
All right, I have several things this morning. So last Thursday, I believe it was, I went to the local consult meeting that KDOT puts on in all the KDOT districts around the state. They do this every 2 years as a part of their Ike transportation plan. This is a 10-year, $10 billion transportation plan that they have. But what's different in this transportation plan as opposed to some that they've had in the past, it's a rolling 2-year plan. And so as they have projects in their pipeline, as those projects reach certain stages, they are looking for additional projects to fill in that pipeline. And so they have identified a number of projects in our district, which stretches from here all the way down to the Oklahoma state line. And then these listening sessions, these local consult meetings give us an opportunity to advocate for the projects in our region. And these are all projects that are on the state highway system. So it wouldn't be, Low 50 wouldn't be the appropriate place to talk about that project. So the one project that they've got, that they see that they would like to do is 59 Highway from Ottawa to Garnett. They would like to add passing lanes on that stretch of highway. And so I was able to advocate for that. You know, there's folks from all over the district, and so they asked for comments. I was the only one, surprisingly, not really, that advocated for this project, because everybody's got projects in their own neck of the woods that they're advocating for. I was able to nudge the Miami County Public Works Director to vote for us, and which he did, but that's just one of the criteria that they use. All of the other metrics that they have listed, and I left each one of you a packet of the handouts. All of the other metrics associated with that project look very good for us. So I think that, you know, the bang for the buck, if you will, puts us in a good position for this project to happen sometime in the next several years. There's no timetable on that, but I would expect that sometime in the next 3 to 5 years that does occur, which would be a great thing. We all know how much traffic that road gets, and having dedicated passing lanes would be a benefit. I do plan to advocate for 68 between Ottawa and Pomona as well, due to the circumstances with that. But so that was that meeting. Old 50, we ended up pushing the bid date back for that project to the 31st. It was supposed to happen yesterday. There were some questions from the contractors that they were a little concerned about the base material, and so in order to give the engineers and the geotech folks a little bit of extra time to provide the information to make the contractors a little more comfortable with the project, we felt like moving it back was a prudent thing to do. From a timing standpoint, per the agreement that we have with KDOT, we have over 6 months to get this thing bid. So we're not in a hurry. We're not chasing the calendar on getting it bid. So a couple of extra weeks to ensure that the contractors get the information they need, I think was well warranted. The Osborne Terrace Bridge is another KDOT project. We had another project meeting on site yesterday. That project is coming along very nicely. They've got the piers are poured. The bottom half of that is in. They are working on the false work right now, which is basically the structure that they will pour the haunch slab concrete on when it's time to do that. So, and they anticipate doing the deck pour sometime in about 6 weeks. So a little before or after Thanksgiving is kind of when we expect that to happen. And in the meantime, they'll do some work on the abutments to get those in. But they do remain on schedule to hopefully have that bridge completed and open by late January. So that's a good thing. And that's all weather dependent and other circumstances, but knock on wood, things are going very well right now. I'm working with Joanna to update our website with this information as information becomes available. When I go out, I take pictures of the progress, and we're adding that to the website. We added on the website the old 50, the new letting date, and those sorts of things as well. So we are trying to keep that updated. I don't know if it was, I think it might have been last week, I mentioned the work that we were doing on a bridge on John Brown, where we had, next to the abutments, the road was settling. We ended up digging both sides of the abutments out, on both sides of the bridge, and have put concrete in there and then filled that with rock. We have another one on Cloud Road that they're actually here in a couple of hours are going to be pouring concrete on. Same issues, in fact, probably a little bit worse situation there. So we'll fill that up with concrete, and then we will, in a couple of days, we'll compact that, some gravel material on top of that. And we've reached out to Kilo Construction to provide us an estimate to come back in and put the asphalt in to finish that project. So hopefully I get that price here pretty quick so that I can get that in front of you to consider. And while we were working on the Cloud Road Bridge, we ended up damaging the concrete railing. So we've reached out to a concrete company to come down and look at it and maybe give us a price to fix that railing as well. So that is all I have. I will say that back on the local consult meeting, one of the benefits of attending that is the chance to interact with KDOT officials. And so I was able to visit with the KDOT secretary, Calvin Reed, is a gentleman that I actually used to work with. And then I also spent some time with the local projects bureau chief and the assistant bureau chief. In the local projects, that's where our bridge funding comes from. And so it's important to maintain good relationships with those folks just so that they are maybe a little more aware of, of our story, the things, challenges and whatnot that we have here in this county. So that's all I have.
Thank you. You represent our county well.
Well, I try to.
All right, Janet.
It's advanced ballot day today. All the advanced ballots for the upcoming election will be going out in the mail today. That doesn't mean that if you didn't get it today, you can't get it. So citizens can still file their advanced ballot application with us. We have 267 ballots going out today, and we'll start early voting on Monday in my office. So,
All right.
I would like to have one of those. So the question on there, I'd like to get a copy of that if I could. First of all, I guess me.
Yeah.
Appreciate, we give Joanne kudos for her quarterly. That thing is big. You know, I went in my printer, and I thought, well, a couple pages, well, I went back, and there's about 6 more, so I thought it was really good coverage, and nice stories in there, and very, very complimentary to to our organization to have something like that. Didn't have a Wellsville meeting the other night, so I don't went, but Wellsville is one of those communities that I think is adding to our tax base greatly. If anybody's been up there, big housing area going in. And then there's another one on down the road a little further that's in the progress also. So, and I know when we took the tour of the school, Paul, you can kind of tell me, they're planning on an influx of, what, 200 to 400 kids?
They've got room for, they're gonna have spread out. The school district there has room for 400 more kids.
Yeah.
First thing you need to add is a grade school. Wise and how they situated.
It's good to know they have some growth area to where they don't start worrying about, they just got done with their big lawn project, so luckily they've got plenty of room to move. Tomorrow, Dave will be heading up the Solid Waste Authority meeting tomorrow, and it'll be here in the commissioner's room. We have a lot of things on our agenda yet tomorrow, a lot of good things on our agenda. Hard maybe to decide on some of them, but there are a lot of good things. I don't know if I mentioned it, but our last one we announced we had our coordinator for there had helped lock in $126,000 in grants for different projects in the 6-county area. Only one of them stayed with the board, and it was a grant for $5,800 for materials and supplies to expand the outreach and education of recycling and landfills in the 6 counties. So that's all I got, Lizzie.
No, we need an executive session, you say? Maybe you want to do a 5-6 minute break in between, so
Yeah, let me
the
make
restroom,
some
and then
comments figure out.
Barb took her time to come and speak to us. I'd like to.
Yeah, that they
Thank
might
you.
like to talk to, yes. Last Friday, I attended, well, last Thursday, we had the FCDC meeting, executive session, and I was kind of sad that, depending on how the board is restructured next year, that might be my last one. But I'm excited about where FCDC is going. On Friday, there was the chamber coffee was presented by the Legislative Action Committee for the chamber. And I really wish that every citizen really cared about what actually goes on, not only in our county, in our city, our county, in Topeka, and in Washington, as the people on that committee. A lot of people like to complain, but unless you vote and you stay involved, it's hard to be able to complain about it. But anyway, they also had a guest speaker, Scott Schwab was there. He had very nice things to say about our clerk. It said that we were very lucky to have our election officer. He's, I don't know how she does her other job, but she does a really good job at being our election officer in your county. And then I'm just going to bring this up. I didn't know, I've been getting a lot of, not a lot, but people from rural Franklin County are reaching out because of the possible construction of wind in Douglas County. At this point, Douglas County there is no setback from the county line. They're proposing a 1,500-foot setback from the county line, and the current residents are saying, we don't have it in Franklin County, but it's going to be right there in Douglas County, and they're asking us as a county to just reach out to Douglas County and request anywhere from a 1 to 3 mile. And I didn't know.
I'm actually in communication with them.
Are you? Okay.
Same complaints
Yes, thank you. Why don't you come up? Thank you.
We, as Franklin County, obviously can't dictate what their regulations
No.
end up being, but I am bringing it up that we have had constituents with these issues and wanting a larger setback between county lines. Now, I'm not saying that if, as an administration, we're not asking them to do that, but we do have constituents with these concerns, and we are bringing it up to that commission. They have a separate commission from their actual planning commission or planning department working on this singular issue. And so I haven't put anything together formally. I just brought it up to Tanya, who explained to me how they're going through the process. And then I was going to work with Derek and bring that up to him. And we were going to put something together that really didn't say that we as the administration believe this, but that we do have concerned citizens.
Well, and I would like to have this discussion when Rod and Roy are back and get feedback from the five of you on what, if anything, you would like us to do. I mean, Pat's having construction conversations at the staff level.
Right.
But I don't want to take a stance as Franklin County on the board's behalf
100%.
without the board's.
Yeah, the
I'm
only,
not, I did not, I told them specifically, I'm not representing anything to do with our government. I just wanted information. I know that I've got consensus
yeah, the
asking
only,
things of me.
the only concern I have on that is that there is some time constraints because
Yes.
it sounds like the planning commission is making their decision next week, and then it's going to the full commission. And, you know, and I, you know, yeah, and I know we can't tell them what to do. And I personally sent just an email that just said respectfully request that you consider.
Right,
You
and
know,
that's kind of
and
what I
that's
was going to go
basically
with.
what, yeah.
I
So
want
anyway,
to-
just, and absolutely, and I understand that getting everybody's opinion, I just know that there is some time constraints that we might need to think
Okay,
about that. So
and
anyway,
we can
thank
make
you.
that a priority.
But anyway, thank you for being,
know.
of course, being on top of it again. Good job.
I
Absolutely.
know we can't tell them what to do, but I'd like to think if we were doing the same thing, we would give them the courtesy
Without a doubt.
to hear what we're doing
Yeah.
and what we're planning on doing. And why, it's no different than working with a city in our county or anything else, you know. It just, we'd want the same courtesy. I'm sure they'd want the same courtesy. And if I remember right, they, on some of it, they were allowing 3,000 feet from a town. So why wouldn't we be allowed the same courtesy?
Well, it's
now?
not, actually, I have it's not, that's incorrect information. It was,
Okay,
if it's within 3 miles of a town, then the town can be involved in the special use request.
well, that's not what I meant,
Yeah.
the setback.
And this is really just a change, they've already have regulations, they're just changing a few items such as setbacks and other height requirements. This is just basically addendum to the existing regulations. There is a town, I think there's four town halls that are going to happen in the next week or two. And I plan to make the one, I believe it's on the 23rd. I'm going to try and make that after hours and whatnot and get as much information. But yeah, like I said, I'll go through Derek and then he can bring it to you guys and we can make a plan of action. So, okay.
All right, thank you. All right. All right, so we're going to take a 5-minute break. And then do you want to give us the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to have a 15-minute executive session with the county commissioners and the county administrator / county counselor to discuss a personnel matter related to non-elected personnel.
All right. So we will, oh, I need a motion then for that.
Make a motion to that extent. We'd be going in at, let's call it 9:40 even,
Okay.
and then getting out 9:55.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
$50. 9:55, no action was taken. And so now we need a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All right.
Second.